What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is your Beef Burger Baconator Slayer, Bacon Bon Wagenstein, coming at you live from the garage. And what I have going on here today is we are going to be going over some of the things I use for heat treating. And I'm going to get a knife ready for heat treat. Now, this is a knife that I've made for my wife, O1 tool steel. So it's going to be an oil quench. And what we're going to do here is we're going to get it ready for heat treat. Now, the materials that I have is denatured alcohol, or DNA. I put it in a little cup here. These cups you can get at restaurants. They're typically condiment holders. You can grab a stack of them when you go to Five Guys. Obviously, propane torch, homemade forge with a little door to keep some heat in while it heats up. I have forge tongs, courtesy of Amazon.com. I have a plate that I rest them on. I try to rest hot objects on a piece of metal versus the table. When I made this, I made it with a heat shield underneath. And believe it or not, this can get up to critical temperature for a knife, and underneath here is still relatively cool. And I have a little bucket of quenching oil. What do I use for quenching oil? I use vegetable oil. Over here I have a product called ATP 641. This is a water-based anti-scale coating. The way that this works is you clean your knife, get all the oil, all the grease, all the whatever off of it. You put it in, you put this on it. You can paint it or do what I do today and dunk it in this. And then once it dries, it's going to stop the decarburization of your metal. You're not going to have that scale, the carbon loss when it gets heated up. I also have the heat treat instructions for the particular metal that I bought. And then when I buy it in long bars, 3 foot long, and this tells you what the metallurgical analysis is and how hot you want to get it to harden, what you want to harden it in. It says oil quench, and also what temperatures and times you want to temper it at to remove some of that hardness and make it less brittle. So this is really good information to have. This comes on every sheet that I get, but nonetheless it's good to keep. So have that nearby. So what we're going to do here today, I also have an adult beverage. Don't flip out. I'm not actually using the forge today. This has to dry on the blade. So when I go to heat treat, I'm going to be doing that tomorrow or in the future. Delicious. So first thing I'm going to do, get some alcohol and just clean this up. Get any crap, any crud, any bullshit off of it. I'm wearing rubber gloves. These are gloves I got at Home Depot. Oh, sorry, Lowe's. Obviously, if you're able to, you want to minimize your exposure to chemicals. I'm not one of those people that thinks that the sky is falling if you get a little bit of alcohol in your hands. God knows I've touched worse things than that. But you also want to minimize contaminating this with the oils that naturally come off of you. So I got that done. I'm going to dry this off. These are just regular shop rags, regular shop towels. Alright. This is a smaller knife that I've made for my wife. I call this design the Ladybug. It's good for somebody with a smaller hand or somebody who just wants to get into a smaller area. Somebody might want to use this for skinning, getting into a little tight spot. But it's also a good knife. It's made out of 3/16 inch wide O1 tool steel. Good stuff. So, what I'm going to do now, is I am going to put this on a hook. I've already mixed up this little jar of ATP 641. Alright. I'm going to get that on there. Look at that. It's nice. This coats almost like, I would say, clay or mud. When it's dry, you take it out, or not take it out really, but when it's dry and you go to use it in the forge, it's, you know, it falls off kind of like a clay or mud mixture. It's really cool stuff. I've used it before, and it definitely helps prevent some of the scale from forming on your blades. So this is not a very expensive product either. This quart right here cost me all of 20 bucks. So, and that's it. Let this dry overnight. Hang it up. Tomorrow, this will be ready to forge, or not forge, but heat up in the little forge and harden. So, I'll try to take both videos and splice them into one. But that's it, really. Easy day. So, this has been your Beef Burger Baconator Slayer. Signing out. Welcome back. This is your Beef Burger Baconator Slayer, Mr. Bacon Von Baconstein, coming at you live from the garage. What I got going on here today is we have the wife's knife, and it is all ready for heat treat. We put the ATP 641 anti-scale compound on it, and that has dried. And as such, we are ready to heat treat. Now, what I've done here is I have created I built a little forge out of kiln brick. Kiln brick is very easy to work with. I will be doing another video in the future on making one of these, because as you can see, well, I don't know if you can see right now. I'll take this off of the stand. There's a crack going along the top. So what I'm going to end up doing is ordering some new kiln brick, which should be pretty cheap, and making a new video on how to create this. All this is a propane tank, ran into the side. I have a little piece of kiln brick with a screw in it as a door. And what I've done right now is I've preheated the forge with a railroad tie, a railroad spike in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, drop it into the quench oil, and that's going to warm up the quench oil and get it ready for the actual knife that we're going to heat treat. So I'm going to show you this part real quick. Look at how hot that is. It's glowing. Love it. Well, these propane tanks right here are only about $3 a pop, so it's not that big of a deal to buy them. Alright, these work perfect for quenching a knife, but they're not as good when it comes to something as big as that railroad spike. So I'm going to grab me a pair of something. Ah, here we go. So, again, grab this out. This could be any piece of metal, really. You're just trying to get your quench oil up to temperature. Put that in. Woo! Look at that. I'm just going to drop that in right there. That bad boy is warming up, getting ready. While that's chooching, we're going to get this started. And again, all I'm going to do is just put it in, continuously pull it in and out, so that way it gets a nice even heat. When it gets past non-magnetic, which is its critical temperature, I will then quench it. This is probably going to take a few minutes, so I'm going to turn the camera off for right now. I'm going to leave that there for a second just so that way it can warm up. There's no point in me doing that right this very moment. But I want to keep it moving, not just so that way it gets an even heat, but so that way the spot where this propane torch is going in doesn't melt. Well, my phone just went off. Where the propane torch is going in doesn't melt. I've had issues with that in the past where it will melt just a teeny tiny spot. So this is baking out. I'm going to hit record here back in probably about 4 minutes. This is bacon coming back at you. That actually did not take very long. Not even 3 or 4 minutes. So what you see is I'm passing it back and forth in front of this flame, making sure it's a nice even heat. And as you can see, I'll turn off this light. As you can see, even with the anti-scale compound, you can still see that it's gotten good and orange hot. Yeah, these tongs right here, these forging tongs, are perfect for doing knives. Not quite big enough of a grip for that railroad spike though. And right here I have a magnet. Doesn't stick to it at all. Completely non-magnetic. Look at that. Nothing. It sticks back there. It sticks closer to the handle, but it doesn't stick, or closer to the end of the handle at least. But it doesn't stick near the front, all on the blade. That's exactly what you want. Non-magnetic. It's non-magnetic, it's past its critical temperature, and it actually allows the grain structure to be affected by the heat treat. Oh yeah, nothing. Alright, and here what we're going to do is we're just going to dunk it right in the quench oil. 3, 2, 1. Booyah! Now when you are quenching, you want to go up. If you're going to move it at all, you want to go up and down, up and down, up and down. You don't want to go left and right. The reason you don't want to go left and right is the action of being introduced to cooler oil to the left and to the right could actually cause warping. So what you're going to want to do is just go back and forth like this. And as you can see, there is almost no scale at all whatsoever. Cleanup of this blade is going to be super easy. Normally, the whole blade just has carbon loss, all scale buildup from the carbon coming out. What you do with this anti-scale compound is you're taking away the oxygenated environment, and that carbon doesn't have anywhere to go. So it stays in your blade, and you get a better quality heat treat from it. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this and dunk it in some water with some Dawn dish detergent. I'll wash off this anti-scale compound, which comes off easily in the sink. As you can see, most of it already chipped off anyhow from the quench. And then get ready to temper it in the oven. 400 degrees for an hour. Let it cool. 400 degrees for an hour. And that's it. This is Bacon von Baconstein, signing off.